Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the final installment of your Digital Tourism Conference. What I want you to do now is I want you to take deep breaths for this final furlong. Okay, this is the final push. Probably some might say the most interesting push, but I disagree because everything has been incredibly interesting so far. So, the idea of these sessions is what we call shine a light. And the idea is we take a short moment. You can tell I'm padding here at the minute. We take a short moment and shine a light on 4 specific businesses. The 4 specific businesses are the Edinburgh Festival Fringe. Elizabeth Burchell is going to talk in a moment. Julia McClellan is going to talk about Calmac ferries. Deborah Mackin is going to talk about East Cambusman, holiday cottages. Just shows you, though, if I make mistakes, your attention is paid to that company. Yeah? It could be something for the future. And Gavin Neate from Neatebox. So I'm going to ask Elizabeth to start us off.
And I'm going to talk very, very fast, I think. Oh, there we are. So it might come as a surprise to you that the Fringe, the world's largest arts festival, struggles for content because we have almost 3,500 shows. But due to our own impartiality, we can't promote any shows or any venues. So we have turned to UGC, user-generated content, and I'm going to very, very, very quickly run through this. So the benefits of UGC is it's really, really, really fun. It maximizes engagement because your audience gets involved with you. It creates this amazing sense of community because everyone's taking part. And the best thing about it is it's practically free. There are lots of types of UGC, but I'm going to give you 3 examples: altruistic, reward-driven, and advocacy. And I'm going to show you one of each. So, cats and dogs. Pets with programs, which is an example of altruistic UGC. This all started with Flynn. Flynn is the Nestival dog, and we received this picture of Flynn with the program. We thought, oh, pets with their programs. And we retweeted it with a hashtag, pets with programs, and then immediately this crazy phenomena was born, and we were immediately inundated with chickens, dogs, rabbits, cats, budgies, dogs in glasses, tortoise, ferrets, anything you can possibly imagine, we got back from the public. And it created this amazing sense of engagement. And we have hundreds of these, and this has now become a Fringe tradition. The best thing about this, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of photos. It got covered by the likes of the Huffington Post and STV. But also, people love to do this. They love to show their cat, their dog, their budgie, whatever. But every single one of them has our brand and our program in it. So it's an amazing sense of reach. Moving on to reward-driven, so a Fringie, which is a selfie taken at the Fringe, which is an amazing idea dreamed up by myself and a friend after a couple of drinks. And I thought it was a really good idea the next day, and so we decided to run a competition. And essentially, we asked people to take a selfie at the Fringe, hashtag it Fringie, and we would pick the best one every day for 5 days. Only 5 days. And the prize was a keyring. So the value of it was absolutely tiny. And suddenly, everybody was giving us their Fringies. So we had Fringies with our brand, we had Fringies with famous people, we had Fringies with our merchandise on the high street. Fringies, 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 Fringies. I'm in this 3 times, because I really like this. And it really, really caught on. Hundreds and hundreds of entries. Celebrities began to get involved with it. It really showcased what the fun of the Fringe is. I mean, James mentioned FOMO earlier. This is a classic example of people looking at it and going, oh my God, I want to get to the Fringe so I can take a Fringie. Massive brand engagement. But the best thing about it was it went from reward-driven, win a prize, to altruistic because everyone got involved. And then finally, InstaWalk. So we used Instagram with a group of fairly prolific Instagrammers, and we asked them to come to the Fringe, local, and we'd take a walk. So we took 2 hours out of our day, we walked them around the Mound and the High Street and took them up St Giles, and all we asked them to do was take pictures and hashtag them EdFringe and WT Fringe. And we got this astonishing, high-quality content that we were then able to push out across a whole bunch of other channels. The combined following of about 12 of these Instagrammers was 700,000 people. It got picked up by BuzzFeed. It allowed us to use it on Pinterest and on a whole bunch of other social channels, and effectively, for nothing, we bought them a couple of drinks afterwards, got extraordinary reach. So those are the 3 types that we've been using. The net result of this, and a whole bunch of other things, bearing in mind that we can't promote shows and we can't promote venues, was a 900% increase in Facebook engagement, 4 times as many followers on Instagram, 35% increase in Twitter engagements, 54 million people reached through social media. And at the bottom line, we got double the amount of revenue through social media channels. So ticket sales ultimately went up. So astonishing, just from things that were practically free and just took a little bit of time and a little bit of effort from our side. And I had one more thing to show you, because I've got just a few seconds. This is an example of a partnership piece. We approached WePhotos and asked them if they would do something with us, and they said yes. We pushed out a request to get people to take part in this photo. They organised the entire thing, and they pushed out on their social channels. We pushed it out on ours. It cost us nothing, and we ended up with, this is just one of an extraordinary set of photos that we can now use across any channel and also give out to partners. 5 minutes. There you go.
Don't think that'll work. Leave that there. Right. Okay, so I'm going to talk about web accessibility. That's me lost about a minute already. So first of all, what is web accessibility? It's something that's really important to us at CalMac, and it's something that we've been working towards over the last 15 months since I started with the business. It's really about making our web properties, our content, and our functionality online easy for customers to do business with us. It's making it accessible for everyone. Just like you would do with a traditional bricks and mortar business, you know, you might install a ramp or a lift so that customers can come along and do business with you easier. And considering nearly 1 in 5 working adults in Scotland are disabled, this is a really important consideration when undertaking any web development project. And it's not just an ethical matter, it is in fact a legal requirement in Europe, and it can be seen to be an act of discrimination. Sorry. So I started learning about web accessibility when I started as digital content exec at CalMac 15 months ago. And at that point in the business, we were right in the thick of a huge, big web development project. And web accessibility was right at the heart of that. To be honest, on my first day, I heard the words web accessibility and I didn't really understand what it meant. So it was very quickly apparent to me that I had to very quickly understand exactly what web accessibility was all about, and how to properly meet the needs of all of our customers, whilst, of course, working with accessibility in mind. So the first steps was my colleagues and I, we went on accessibility training, and we enlisted the help of the experts at the Royal National Institute for the Blind, the RNIB. They were a great help. They really helped us user test our wireframes and our prototypes to make sure that the website that we were developing and designing was appropriate for all of the customers that need to come onto the CalMac website. And this has, of course, helped us create a much more usable website, although we are still on our journey to becoming AA compliant. But it very much is a part of the culture at CalMac, which is a great thing, and we've come on leaps and bounds, I think, in the last 15 months. So I'd just like to share with you some of my considerations that I've learned, and hopefully you can take away some points today. So first of all, it's about your company's DNA. Make it part of your company's DNA, embed it in your company culture, make it part of certain roles, like in marketing, digital, technical roles, and embed web accessibility into your internal training processes. My second point is about getting help. Just get help and start learning. The Royal National Institute for the Blind, the RNIB, they were a huge help for us, and they were so welcoming and glad to hear from us, and they can offer training and consultation. Also, make sure you do user test any wireframes or new products on your website with real users who do face real accessibility challenges. And familiarise yourself and your teams with the latest web content accessibility guidelines, the WCAG guidelines. My third point is about choosing partners carefully. Make sure that when you do embark on a big, if you do have a new website or you want to redesign it, make sure that you have web accessibility as part of your requirements, so that any partners that come to work with you, you make sure that they do have knowledge and understanding in this field. And there are tools online that you can use to validate any web pages that you think, I'm not really sure if this is accessible, what are the things that we need to improve on. There are tools out there that can help. My fourth point is a huge point, and I can't cover it all today, but these are a few key points about design, layout, and usability. So if you think colour, for example, high contrast colours are a lot easier for most users to see. Think black on white rather than a yellow on red, for example. Our CalMac logo is yellow and red, total nightmare. Animation, so we chose black on white. It's much easier for example, colourblind users. Animation should always be under the user's control. So we see a lot of automatic banners, carousels, tickers on websites, and automatic video content that plays. Somebody who's using a screen reader, for example, may find this a challenge when they visit our website. Layout and text should always be in order. So make sure that you've got your left-aligned text rather than a central-aligned text. You can see rivers of white for some people who are dyslexic when you see central-aligned text. Imagery and video should always have appropriate alt tags and text descriptions and audio descriptions, again, for somebody who's on a screen reader. And linked text must always be contextual. This is a lot more helpful for somebody. Again, where are you going to take them in that link? Don't just say, click here. Say something like, click here for web accessibility help. My fifth and final point is about search. Everybody loves knowing about search. And the great thing is about web accessibility is search engines love accessible web pages. At the end of the day, they're looking to find the same quality, relevant information that our users are looking to find. So that's just a good benefit. It's not just a great thing to do. You do get rewards in the end of it. Thank you.
As a small business owner with 2 holiday cottages, we've got neither the budget nor the time to run significant social media campaigns. However, I can tell you that engagement with potential guests via Twitter and Facebook works for our business, and I believe can work for other small businesses as well as large in the tourism sector. Our social media messages are out there to support, promote and reinforce the quality of our cottages, but it's also important to promote the Loch Lomond destination and Scottish tourism as a whole. Visitor decision-making pathways are varied and can be complex. There are many reasons why potential guests come to choose to stay with us. Many of our guests book through regular adverts and our website, but they've still engaged on Twitter and Facebook for latest news and pictures. Our news isn't always about late deals or availability. This makes for a very dull news feed. I certainly use social media to signpost the deals on the website, but what we're promoting is the whole package of staying amidst great scenery with lots of interesting places to visit and activities to enjoy. People are choosing the destination as a whole, as well as searching for accommodation. I'm not setting out to be a restaurant reviewer, but when there's a new place to eat or a new season's menu from an established restaurant, it's great to be able to share that news. By collaborating with food and drink providers, we're reinforcing the message that Loch Lomond is a brilliant place to visit. And also, as an accommodation provider, I'm on the button with where's good to eat and places to go. Social media is great for fostering and continuing relationships with other tourism businesses locally. At a Love Loch Lomond members event, I met the business development manager of an outdoor activities provider. We followed up our chat with a visit for them to see the cottages. We're happy to promote their activities, and in turn, they provide our cottage details to interested parties. This isn't to the exclusion of others, but is an asset to the area, makes the destination more attractive, and once more promotes the cottages as great places to stay. Now that can happen anywhere, but continuing collaboration on social media makes it easier. When businesses and people are busy, it becomes very convenient just to keep in touch with what's happening using Twitter, Facebook, and the other channels that have been mentioned. Potential leads for people looking for somewhere to stay near Loch Lomond can also be sought using social media and hashtags. The green agenda is very important to us, and some of our marketing is directed to those for whom sustainability is part of their holiday decision-making. I've had an inquiry from someone attracted by our plans to install an electric vehicle charging point, and they became aware of those plans via Twitter. Using a search on the Loch Lomond hashtag, I spotted an inquiry from a lady looking to stay nearby. I engaged in conversation. Following a brief exchange, it was clear she only wanted one night's stay, and that's actually no good for us as a cottage provider. However, I put her in contact with a local B&B. And this sort of goodwill is never, ever a bad thing. It takes seconds to do and may lead to reciprocal arrangements or recommendations. A share of a Facebook availability post directly led to a £1,500 booking for me. We've engaged the Book Now button on the Facebook page, and we know that people are clicking through using that tool. Another key area for any business is to provide continuing links with previous guests. Everyone knows it costs more to win new business than it does to retain previous customers. By engaging with previous guests on Facebook and Twitter, we're reminding them of the great stay they had with us. If I post a sunset from the top of the hill at the end of our driveway, you can be sure that previous guests will like the picture or comment on it or share it, and they might comment on how they enjoyed that fantastic view. It has indeed prompted some of them to look at their diaries and rebook. It also promotes more word-of-mouth recommendation and encouragement for family and friends to look at this place. This costs me a little time, but no money. For small business owners, I don't want you to think I'm spending hours promoting other people's businesses. However, I do feel very strongly that collaboration can be a very effective tool in tourism marketing. The benefits are clear for me that using social media works for our business. It is one of the tools we use. A good website is at the heart of marketing for us as well as others. Social media just brings about 10% of the traffic to that website. Promoting the destination, great collaboration, repeat business as well as new are all positive results. Thank you.
I've got a funny feeling that James is up here so he can rugby tackle me. I'm not known for doing 5 minutes if anybody's spoken to me outside. I was going to talk to you for 5 minutes. I had a fantastic presentation that I put together, but I got an email through this morning with a new promotional video that Scottish Enterprise and I did together, and I'm hoping the guys have got it. I'm guessing if I press the button, it will come up.
The thing I find more exciting than anything else is inclusivity. If we provide something with thought in the development stage, we can make sure that anything we do is accessible and inclusive to everyone. I was very aware after 18 years working for Guide Dogs for the Blind that people with disability weren't getting a good deal. We recognised that pedestrian crossings were a massive problem. If you can't cross a road safely, the anxiety about crossing a road becomes bigger and bigger. We looked at Bluetooth Low Energy as being something that we could use. We started installing chips inside pedestrian crossing boxes, which then communicated with an app that we devised, and then the phone just communicates with the chip that's sending out a signal. In 2013, I entered a competition with the City of Edinburgh Council. It was called Edinburgh Apps, and I won the competition and started a dialogue with the City of Edinburgh Council, and they were very interested when I started to talk to them about what we could do as far as accessible tourism was concerned. Not accessible tourism, but inclusive tourism, so something that everybody could use. Edinburgh has well over 1 million visitors every single year. There's a real need to provide information to all of them in the way that they want to engage with it. One of the biggest problems they had on the Royal Mile was that all of the tourists really accumulated at the top of the Royal Mile, the Esplanade and the castle. And then if they were going to move down the mile, as they got further down towards the Canongate or the Parliament or Holyrood Palace, they would dissipate. And there are some amazing, interesting stories when you get below North Bridge Street. When you're walking along and you're running our app, Edinburgh Up Close, and you walk anywhere near one of our beacons, a part of the app opens up and gives you information about where you're standing. Now, the reason that information is pertinent to where you're standing is because the beacon has a very specific ID. It shouts out a certain number to your mobile device. Your mobile device goes to the place within the application that's pertinent to where you are and gives you that information. The biggest thing with providing a solution like this is content. If we provide text, for instance, in an audio guide, in a traditional audio guide, the person can then access the text. If we want to put that text into 30 or 40 different languages, it's actually quite an easy task to do, and we can do that with this application. We can also change the pictures that we want to use. We can also put in video of British Sign Language. So we're making it so much more accessible for people. Do I have a favourite story? Every single story is of interest, but there are some that are really surprising. Some that you just go, oh wow, that's where it came from. Something that you really do know about. Now, one of the stories really does hit that nail on the head, and it's about a chap called Deacon Brodie.
By day, Brodie was the most respected of men. However, Brodie developed a gambling habit and soon had debts he couldn't pay. Then he hatched a plan to rob the customs office here at Chessel's Court. The robbery was a disaster.
One of the reasons that we used Bluetooth Low Energy was because we realized that we didn't need to access the internet and Wi-Fi in order to use it. So no need for Wi-Fi, no need for connectivity, no need for data roaming. It is purely something that interacts with our beacon. In the first 3 weeks, we had over 1,000 downloads with really quite minimal advertising at that point. We know that when we increase the advertising, this potentially could just multiply up, but over 1,000 downloads with some really positive reviews. Neatebox truly is about having an inclusive society. We want everybody to be equal, or as equal as they possibly can be, and we believe that we can provide solutions so that when they access information, it is pertinent and engaging to them.
I think that was the easiest presentation I've ever had to give. Thank you.